It's time!
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Sometimes I think there's been a misunderstanding on this channel. I got a comment, someone's just really trying to pick me apart and be negative, and they said, well, what if someone has CPSTD? What if someone has PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder? What if someone is 6 feet under? It's like, really, like, what if? You sound like a narcissist. So someone came on here and you know, okay, they tried to pick apart a video that was extremely supportive. Like, hey, here's some tools that you can take for free. I'm not charging you, even though it cost me thousands and thousands. You know how much? I've spent almost $100,000 on my education. And how much are you guys paying me? Nothing. So let's get something really clear. Number one, I want to ask you a question, okay? And I want you to ask yourself this question. What do you think my intentions are for making this YouTube channel? I want you to write it down, because I want you to take a look at it. Because it takes me about an hour or more a day to make YouTube videos. I usually don't just make one. I have to edit it. Sometimes I got to start all over again. You know, all kinds of things. It's not like I just upload and boom, it's done. Even the uploading takes time. Everything has to be done in a certain way. So it takes time and effort and energy. And I've been kicking these videos out every single day for about 2 years now. So why come on here and twist everything and try to be negative? Like, what is your purpose? Like, yeah, so what is your purpose? Okay, what is your purpose? What is your intention? Is your intention to come on here just to be an asshole? To be negative? No, is it? I said something really positive on the last video and someone just ripped me apart. Oh, well, you know, you're not being understanding of people that are crippled and people that are post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, like I haven't suffered from that. You know what? I have yet to meet a single person on the planet, yet, in person, that has had a worse life than me, who has been tortured from the age of 8 months on, who's had their hand burned on the stove, who's been beaten on a daily basis. I have yet to meet someone like this, yet. Every person, when I start to tell them my story, I don't even get 5% into it. They're like, holy shit, that happened to you? Like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people that even talk about it to this day. A friend of mine, he was a very, very successful lawyer. He had his doctorate degree in law from, University of, I think it was Santa Clara. Undefeated. The only court case that he lost was a case that couldn't be won. They gave it to him to keep the loss to lower it from $20 million for their client. He got it all the way down to $2 million. They considered that a major win. He was one of the top lawyers in San Francisco. And you know what he did? He sent me a book on my birthday. It's called It. It's about a young guy whose mother beat him, who made him drink bleach, who basically was a monster to him. And he wrote a book about it. And it was in the 90s and early 2000s. It was pretty famous book. So as I was reading the book, I cried a lot. And then he sent me the follow-up book, and I read that, and I cried a lot. And I finally called him and like, why do you keep sending me these books? It just reminds me of my life. He goes, yeah, I know. And I finally said, you realize that my life was much worse than this book? And he said, yeah, Mike, that's why I sent you. He goes, I don't think you realize how bad you were treated. So please don't talk to me about CPTSD, PTSD, and depression. Trust me. I've been through it. I've been through fucking hell. What do you think my purpose and intention of this video, of all the videos I've been making for the last 2 years, is about? What do you think the purpose is? To be mean to people? To hurt people? No. To get you to stand up, to take your power back, to be strong, to fight back, to get back and live your life and be happy again. You know, a lot of you guys have no clue how much power you have inside of you right now. But you know what? No one's ever pushed you. No one's ever yelled at you. No one's ever said that you're choosing the easy way out. See, a lot of you think, oh, well, I can't. And you know what? You're on the wrong channel, by the way. You are absolutely on the wrong... For those of you who say, oh, well, I can't, and here's my excuse. You are on the wrong channel. Get off now. This channel is for people who want to get their life back. And you know what? It's not going to be a magic pill. It's not something you're going to go and get over the counter at the pharmacy, okay? Period. I'm going to share with you a few real-life stories. I would like to introduce you to Christy Yamaguchi. I'm going to read off her bio. Christine Yamaguchi is an American former competitive figure skater and author. A former competitor in women's singles, Yamaguchi is the 1992 Olympic champion, two-time world champion, and the 1992 U.S. champion. In 1992, she became the first Asian American to win gold in a Winter Olympic competition. Her height, 4'11". Now let me share something else with you here. One day I was in San Francisco and it was winter, so I was wearing this brand new jacket I bought. It was a long jacket. It was black. It was a Calvin Klein jacket, and I really, really liked it. So I'm walking down, and I think it was just called Union Street in San Francisco in the marina, the nice area, okay? And this cute little Asian girl was walking towards me. This was about, I'm going to guess 15 years ago approximately. And it turned out to be Christy Yamaguchi. And she kind of was afraid because the jacket was all black, but I was, I was looking sharp and everything. And I was like, "Oh, Christy, I'm so sorry, so sorry." She goes, "Oh, you know me?" Like, "Yeah, everybody knows you." Well, she's an Olympic gold medalist. Okay. Well, we had a little bit of a chat, and she shared something with me which I didn't know. See, most people would look at her and think, "Oh, she's so lucky if she was just born that way." In fact, that's what I used to hear in my family all the time. She was just born for ice skating. When in fact, no, she was not, absolutely not born. In fact, the opposite. So, I'm going to read it off out of something I found. Probably better to do this way. So, Christy Yamaguchi was born with club feet. So, I'm reading this off of Google. She was born with club feet. She had cast on her legs for much of the first year of her life, and then wore corrective shoes connected by a brace for the next year. She says, "The braces hurt my legs a lot, and I remember trying to walk with a bar in between my feet. I had to shuffle." Well, you would think, wait a minute, she was born with club feet and she couldn't even walk? No, she couldn't even walk for years. You want to know why she got into ice skating? Because someone had said, "Hey, you know what? I think ice skating would be a good way to strengthen her legs and strengthen her feet, so one day she could be able to walk normal." I mean, this was more than 2 or 3 or 4 years into it. I mean, they were just trying to figure out, like, how can we get this girl to strengthen her legs? She has 2 club feet. The last thing you would want to be an ice skater. She got so good at it, she took her weakness, her absolute reverse opposite weakness, and she turned it into her strength. She became an Olympic gold medalist, not to mention her other world titles. There's 2 kinds of people in this world. I'm going to tell you right now, there's only 2 kinds. There's the kind that takes their absolute weakness and takes it and turns it into their absolute strength and power. And the meaning they give to that weakness is, because of this is why I'm going to succeed. And then there's the other kind. This is my excuse for the rest of my life of why I'm never going to do anything at all with my life. There's 2 kinds of people. If you come to me and you're the second kind of person and you're just saying, "Hey man, here's my excuses," I won't work with you. I'll fire you. If you tell me you can't, I will agree with you and I'll show you how the door works. Now this is David Goggins. Now this guy, Navy SEAL, top of his class, won this medal, won this honorable medal, and all this good stuff. Look at him. He's in perfect shape. I mean, the guy's just born natural. I mean, he's just lucky. when in fact he was about 27 years old, I think maybe a little bit older. He was about 350 pounds. He would drink chocolate milkshakes every day. He went to Burger King, and hamburgers and fries, and just ate the worst food you could possibly imagine. And he was never in shape in his entire life. And one day he looked at his life and goes, what am I doing? I'm doing nothing with my life. So this guy made a decision. Listen closely. Listen closely. Write this word down. It's the most powerful word that you're ever going to write down in your entire life. This is the most powerful word. I guarantee it. He made a decision. Write down the word decision. Decide. It means to cut off from any other possibility. Write that down. Decide equals. It means to cut off from any other possibility. The second word you need in your vocabulary is commit. 110%, not 100%. You push beyond, and then push beyond that. And then once you get there, you push beyond that. That's all you need to know. That's it. You make a decision, cut off from any other. In other words, this is it, period. This is what I'm going to do. That's just the end of the story. And then you commit everything in your power and you make it happen. So David Goggins was so lucky. He was 350 pounds. He didn't have a father. He didn't have leadership. He didn't have anything. Basically, I think he almost dropped out of school, or he did. He got his GED, and he was basically had no future at all. He made a decision. Now, here's part of the decisions he made. He was out of shape, and he decided that he was going to run a 100-mile marathon because there was qualifications. So he had to run a qualification course before that. And again, I don't know if that's 50 miles or 100 miles, but he had to do that in a certain amount of time. I don't remember how many hours they gave him to run. Well, guess what? He had broken multiple bones in his feet during this run, early on in the run, because he was way overweight. The guy ran the entire course with broken feet. I don't mean one or two broken bones. I mean multiple fractures on both of his feet. See, your narcissist would never do this. It is so easy to outwork those guys. They're so lazy. They're all about excuses and why they can't. There's two people in this world, those who do and those who don't, who look for excuses. It's like he says, it's so easy to be great nowadays because everyone else is weak. So after you broke all those bones in his feet, you're thinking, okay, well, good, he qualified. No, he qualified for the 100-mile race. He had to run the race with broken feet. Yeah, the next race. A lot of you guys have no idea how much you have in the tank. You have no idea the power that you have if you were to make a commitment, to dig deep. A lot of people look at my childhood and go, how did you go through that? Because a lot of the neighbor kids, they knew exactly. They could hear the beatings. They could hear the screams. They saw my burnt hand. They talk to this day. They talk about it. And they're like, how did you get straight A's all that time? How did you win a state championship? How did you do this and do the 4 paper routes at 2 in the morning, 2 after school? I was delivering newspapers when it was 40 degrees below zero. I'm not joking, with the windshield factor dropping way below 50 below zero. I just refused to quit. I had to do this. This is my goal that I set, and this is what I have to do, period. The pain and suffering that Kristi Yamaguchi went through all those years is unbelievable. And yet all you guys see is her skating on the ice, and it looks beautiful. It looks perfect. It looks so fluid. It's so easy. It was never easy for her. It was extremely painful. And Goggins talks about the humiliation he went through. He was bullied his whole life. Why do you think he had no goals or dreams? Why do you think he drank chocolate shakes every single day with McDonald's and Burger King and fries and the worst things you could eat? Because he had no self-esteem. He had nothing. But goddamn, did he turn into something. I'm going to tell you the people right now on this channel that don't deserve to be on this channel. The ones who complain about the music. The ones, now I don't mind if you say, hey man, can you turn the volume down a little bit next time? That's fine, because I was playing it pretty loud sometimes. But some people are like, why do you play music? Why do you, it's like, dude, you're on the wrong fucking channel. Here's another one. If you're worried about me dropping the F-bomb once in a while here and there, you're on the wrong channel. You are telling me that you have put up strong limitations. You yourself put up your own barriers around you, and you will never succeed in life. If those two little tiny things are upsetting you, you're never going to do anything with your life. You know why? Because you set your own limitation, and your limitation is ground zero. You're just like, I'm not doing nothing, buddy. I got limitations all around me, and it's your excuses. These are your excuses. I don't want to hear it. When I was in high school football, I was playing with broken fingers, torn hamstrings, broken ribs. I remember the other running back had broke his scapula. You know what he did? He went to the hospital and they shot him up with cortisone, and he played that frickin' next Friday night. And he played the rest of the season and also went to the playoffs and the section championships, and we won. All of us played with massive, massive pain. I remember in high school football, it was during double days, okay? So football is one of the toughest things you could do. You can break your legs, break your neck, break your back. You can get severe concussions, etc. And I remember during double days, I think it was my second or third year, and I was going up against the toughest guy in the varsity team. This guy was supposed to be the guy, the defensive end. And we went head to head, and I just cracked right into him, and he even cussed at me. What the fuck? And so then we went at it one more time, and after that point, he never would hit me again. He would, damn, Kollin hits hard. I realized something that day, not only against him, but against everyone else. Now watch this. Everything is about the meaning that you give to it, okay? So what meaning did you give to that? So I remember I was just knocking dudes out. I was cracking people hard. People were just going, Jesus Christ, like this guy, like he doesn't feel pain or something. And I actually overheard someone say that, and I realized something. These guys can't take the amount of pain that I can take. And this is what I said to myself. Because my mother beat me so severely all those years, I'm tougher than all these guys. I found my advantage. I was actually proud that my mother beat the living crap out of me. It made me fucking tough. And I'd never played football before until high school. All these other guys had 2 or 3 years. And I found my advantage. Like nobody could stop me. Nobody. You literally would have to break my leg or break my back in order for me not to be able to play. Other than that, I'm playing and I'm going to go after you. From that day forward, there was no question in my mind that I was tough. Because I did one thing. I said the worst thing in the world that happened to me is what made me tough. I made that decision. I could have done it because I was beaten. I'm such a wimp. I could have done the wambulance tactic. To this day, everyone I meet is like, I don't know how you didn't turn into a complete psycho or completely give up on life and faith in humanity. I don't get it. It's because of a decision that I made. This is what made me strong. This is why I'm better than you. Take a look at this right here. It says put on the full what? Armor. Armor for what? For war. Ephesians 6:11, helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, shield of faith, belt of truth, shoes of the gospel of peace, the sword of the Spirit. Okay, I have a question. Does this man in this uniform, does he look like he's going to go do the ice capades? Does he look like he's going to go put on a dress and get all fancy and just walk around and do a dance? No, dude. This guy's ready for battle. This guy's ready for war. And yet, all I hear from Christians is how it's all about being nice, and if they're being mean, let them push you around and let people bully you. And oh Mike, are you sure we're allowed to stand up for? Geez, like look at the image. Read what put on the armor of God. Ephesians 4:11-18. You're preparing for battle. The depiction of the Bible done to American Christians is so watered down. It is so false. It is so fake. Let me tell you a truth that I bet a lot of you don't know. It's possible and likely that you read it, but you really didn't read it. It went right over your head because it was just a fantasy. It was just a movie in Hollywood. Oh, wonderful. Does any of you know what happened to the disciples? The ones that followed Jesus Christ? Do you know what they did to them? Please write it down in the comments section if you know. They were brutalized, they were tortured, they were beaten. One of them was hung upside down. So when Jesus called them in and said, hey, you guys are going to be my disciples. You're going to go in pairs unto the world, and you're going to do so unto others. You're going to heal people, etc. Do you understand the danger, the absolute danger that they were walking into? They were walking into a world that absolutely hated Jesus Christ and his disciples. This was a terrifying thing for them to do. This was not easy. But Jesus prepared them. He trained them as you're supposed to train. Okay, let me ask you a question. Let's say you go into a battle and you have no training. You don't have a sword, you don't have a shield, you don't have any armor, and you've never been trained in fighting. Nothing. You're probably going to get annihilated. But imagine if you trained in swordsmanship for 10 years, and you trained in martial arts for 10 years, and you trained in wrestling and jiu-jitsu for 10 years, and you've been learning all these fighting skills and arts, etc., etc., you're going to be a lot happier person, and you're going to do much, much better in the world. And that is my point. Being a weakling, being this easy target for narcissists to beat down is misery. You can live with a sense of heaven on the planet if you learn how to strengthen your mind, if you learn different things, if you learn how to strengthen yourself. You're much better off at least doing push-ups and sit-ups and doing something. I mean, right here, this is just one phrase that he made up in his head. Literally, he made it up in his head. Suffering is the true test of life. In other words, this is something that makes you look forward to life, that makes you stronger. Just like me, when I found my strength, I was like, that's my strength. I can take massive amounts of pain, and other people can't. I would say 90+% of the people on the planet can't take the amount of pain that I can take. And you know what? When it comes to fighting sports and combat sports like football, that's really what it comes down to. How much pain can you take? And as Sylvester Stallone says, and keep moving forward. That's what it's all about. Please, 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 please tell me, where in the Bible did it say life is easy? Where did it say this? Please show me this. Please show me. Show me. I would love to hear this. I'd love to hear this. In fact, everywhere in the Bible it says, put on the armor of God. Be strength in heart, strength in mind, strength in spirit. That's what I keep hearing. I don't keep hearing, oh, life is so easy, blah, 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 blah. No, you're going to hear that from the demonic narcissists that are surrounded by you in the churches. That's where you're hearing that. And they sugarcoat all the tough things that everyone in the Bible has had to go through. Look at Job. I mean, there's so many stories in the Bible from David to everyone and all the suffering that they went through. Make your pain your pleasure. Turn pain into power. And all of a sudden, the things that make other people miserable literally make you happy. When I was in high school football and college football, when someone would knock me on my ass, I would bounce right up and they'd be like, holy shit, what the fuck? I hit that guy with everything I had and he just bounced right up. And let me tell you, when I bounced up and their entire sideline went silent and that guy's eyes completely just dropped, I won. And I knew right then I won. And goddamn, that pain felt better than anything on the planet. There's no drug on the planet that could even come close to that level of pleasure. Become unstoppable. The things that they do to hurt you, turn it into power, turn it into motivation, turn it into enthusiasm, turn it into excitement, turn it into fun, turn it into pleasure. And this is Wim Hof. This guy does a breathing technique. Is you breathe in your nose and mouth at the same time, really fast, like you're hyperventilating. And then you hold it, but you breathe a lot longer than that, and then you hold a breath until you black out pretty much. And what it does, it shoves oxygen into your bloodstream on a massive amount. So that breathing technique, you should usually do about 25, 30, or 40 reps, and then you hold your breath when you breathe in deep, and you hold all that breath as long as you can, man. And I'm going to tell you what, you feel alive, and that's what life is all about, is feeling alive. And Mr. Wim Hof, he's just born naturally lucky. I mean, his life had no pain. No, he's just born this way. Here's what happened. He ended up breaking the record, going up to, it was either Alaska or somewhere in Canada, the North Pole, and they dug a hole in the ice, and he dove under it, and then he swam to the other hole, and he broke the record for swimming under freezing water under the ice, the longest length in the world. It was like a world record, okay? And this is what he teaches people how to do. Another thing he did, in shorts and shoes alone, no shirt, no hat, no gloves, nothing, he ran a marathon during the middle of the winter in Alaska. Yeah, when it was like 30 or 40 or 50 degrees below zero. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. Push yourself. Make a decision. Make your weakness your power. I mean, this man's never suffered in his life. Everything was just lucky. He was born like this, blah, 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 bullshit. His wife died of cancer. It's a very long, very sad, very suffering story, and it broke his heart. It broke him. But instead of just giving up on life, eventually he decided to do something about it. He was dead inside. He was dark inside. He had no life. He had no light. Everything was gone. His wife was his everything. So he started doing this Wim Hof breathing technique. He started, going in the ice and swimming underwater, and something just clicked with him, and he became the best in the world. Are you guys getting a message here? You can if you want. You can if you decide. You can if you commit. Take your worst pain. Take your absolute weakness, like being born with club feet to where you literally can't walk. Take your absolute weakness and turn it into your most powerful power, and you can do anything on the planet. I made a post a long time ago, an image with a guy meditating with a big orange sun, like in the background it was dark like nighttime, and it was like a Buddhist or a Asian meditator. And I wrote on there, everything that we learned and heard about Jesus Christ and about Buddha, it's all true. When I was a little kid, I got beat up a lot, and I mean a lot. It was at a very young age. We're talking about 8 months old and on. And I don't mean just from my mom. From my older brother Gary used to beat the shit out of me when I was a little fucking baby, okay? But you know what? I started doing jumping jacks, push-ups, and sit-ups with Jack LaLanne. This was an old man back in the 70s who had this TV show. And I would do that because I remember at a young age, I was about 4 years old, maybe 4.5, and I said to myself while doing push-ups with Jack LaLanne, someday, one day, I'm going to be able to protect myself from people that beat me up. And I had a lot of them. And I got beat up a lot. I got hit, punched, kicked, stabbed, hit with baseball bats. You name it, it happened to me. I was surrounded by people who were always telling me that I can't. My whole life. That's all I knew. When I started boxing, every single brother and sister my mom said to me, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, why? Well, you've never done it before. You can't. You don't know how. And I remember looking at them with this just dumb look of going, well, yeah, I know. Of course I don't know how to do it because I've never done it. That's why you go to practice. And I just look at them like, whatever, dude. But they kept telling me, like, you can't do it. You can't do it. You're no good. I was undefeated for a year, and they kept telling me how I was no good. Every time I went to do something new, whether it was boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, you can't do that. You're not big enough. You're not strong enough. You know what? They were right. I wasn't big enough. And I wasn't a natural athlete. I had to work at it. I mean, I had setback after setback after setbacks from people doing really fucked up things to me. But I just kept going. I remember when I got ran over by the car, it was about a year and 9 months later, maybe a year and 10 months. I don't remember exactly, but it's almost 2 years. And I made an appointment with my doctor, and he goes, well, what's going on, man? I'm like, well, and I was slurring my words, and I'm like, I can't really talk normal, blah, blah. And I was slurring my words, and he's like, what do you mean? I go, well, my memory's gone. I go, last, doctor appointment, I went right by the office, and I drove right across the Golden Gate Bridge, because I was like in a trance, and next I'm in San Francisco. I'm like, well, what am I doing here? I'm like, well, might as well go to Baker's Beach. So I went to the beach and got some sun, and until I got home and saw the note on my front door, because I used to have to put notes on my front door to remind me, like, hey, Michael, this is where you're going. So he had told me, he goes, I don't think you understand, because I had said, I've had concussions before. I've never been, like, they all usually heal within 3 or 4 months. He goes, Michael, you don't have a concussion. You tore your brain in 3 places. You have a traumatic brain injury. You physically damaged your brain. This is what he said to me. He said, you're never going to be the same. You're never going to work again. You're never going to be able to do this or that again. You're never going to be able to exercise or walk again. Not walk, but walk normal. And I remember looking at him like, what are you talking about? I don't know, just in my mind, I was like, okay, whatever, dude. Like, in my mind, like, yeah, I will. I knew I would. So I started going to acupuncture. Dr. Chen in San Francisco, he's probably passed away now, but I went to him, and then I went to an energy healer for a long time, and I meditated, and I did deep breathing exercises. I refused to give up. And you know what? I remember when I got ran over by that car, I was in the middle of the road, broke over 24 broken bones, bleeding all over the place, and I just remember thinking, like, no one's going to help me, because no one stopped for hours. I realized at that moment in time I had to do this, and it did something to me psychologically. It's all on me. Everything is on me. Everything. I'm not waiting for a friend or a buddy. I'm not waiting for someone to pop. Nope, it's all on me. And let me tell you something, that was hands down the most powerful experience that I've ever had in my life. Those 10 years after, like, no one helped me. Not a single person. Nobody. I don't wait for anybody or anything anymore. And neither should you. Life is a choice. Period. What choice are you making? Are you making excuses, or are you taking your weakest weakness and turning that into your strongest power? That's it. There's 2 people on this planet. Those who do and those who don't. Those who take their weaknesses and make it their greatest strength. Whatever you want to do with your life, do it like your life depends on it. Period. End of sentence. You do that and you can do anything. Let me tell you something. When you begin to strengthen your muscles, your mind, your heart, your spirit, when you begin to develop skills, actual skills that you can apply in life, regardless of what it is, life starts to become better. It starts to become funner and more meaningful. That's why those people that work their ass off and never give up tend to be happier people. It's a choice. Make it. Hey, this is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Go ahead and click subscribe, click the like button, make a comment, and if you want, go ahead and make a donation. There's a PayPal donation link right there in the description box below the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.